Hi there. In part 5 of the International Currency Market series, Currency Unions, I mentioned customs unions in passing. Subsequently, my associate suggested that perhaps I should have a full episode on customs unions, that perhaps people would benefit from this. I shall include a link up here to the video on currency unions, as there is an interesting overlap with today's discussion. So today's episode, therefore, is dedicated to customs unions. It is also part 1 of a new series on international trade. In future episodes, I shall discuss other aspects of international trade, including the trade war between the United States and China, and the war in Ukraine and its trade implications, which include Western sanctions on Russia and the looming geo-fragmentation. So, what are customs unions? Customs unions are agreements between countries to remove tariffs and other trade barriers between them, and to coordinate their trade policies towards other countries. These agreements are aimed at promoting free trade and improving economic cooperation between member countries. In a customs union, member countries give up their individual rights to set tariffs on imports from non-member countries and instead agree to a common external tariff. This allows for the creation of a larger market for goods and services, as member countries can trade with each other without the hindrance of tariffs and other trade barriers. Before I continue, however, do visit our website where I curate news and publications from international financial organizations and world central banks. Topics cover a wide range of financial and economic issues that affect individual countries or the world economy. For instance, COVID-19, inflation, or the war in Ukraine. Please also subscribe to this channel and be informed whenever we publish a new video. One of the most prominent customs unions in the world is the European Union, EU. I previously discussed the EU as a currency union, so today we can see that it is also a customs union. For more on currency unions, please refer to my video on the subject, which I linked up earlier in this video. I will additionally provide a link in the description below. The EU was established in 1993 in terms of the Maastricht Treaty and has since grown to 27 member states. The EU operates a common market where goods, capital, and people can move freely between member states and coordinates its trade policies towards other countries. This has helped to promote trade and investment within the EU and has contributed to the overall economic growth and stability of the region. The EU operates as a single market, meaning that goods, services, capital, and people can move freely among its member countries. The EU has eliminated tariffs on trade between its member countries and has a common trade policy for goods imported from outside the Union. This has helped to create a larger market for goods and services, making it easier for businesses to operate in multiple countries within the EU. In addition to promoting trade, the EU also seeks to harmonize trade-related policies and regulations among its member countries. This helps to reduce trade barriers and to make it easier for businesses to operate across borders. The EU also works to coordinate economic policies, such as monetary and fiscal policies, to support economic growth and stability in the region. The EU is governed by several institutions, including the European Commission, the European Parliament, and the European Council. The European Commission is responsible for proposing legislation and implementing policies, while the European Parliament and the European Council are responsible for making decisions on trade policy and other important matters. The EU is an important economic bloc that plays a significant role in promoting trade and economic development in Europe. Its member countries have benefited from increased trade and investment and from the creation of a larger market for goods and services. Additionally, the EU has been working to promote political and social integration among its member countries and to address common challenges such as climate change and migration. Another customs union is the Southern African Customs Union, SACU, which was established in 1910 and is the oldest customs union in the world. The SACU currently has 5 member states: Botswana, Eswatini, Lesotho, Namibia, and South Africa. These countries, except for Botswana, are also part of the Common Monetary Area, CMA, which is a currency union based on the South African currency, the ZAR or Rand. The SACU operates a common external tariff, which applies to goods imported into the Union from outside the region, and member states also coordinate their trade policies towards other countries. The SACU has helped to increase trade and investment within the region and has contributed to the overall economic growth and development of the member states. The main objective of SACU is to promote trade and economic cooperation among its member countries. To achieve this, the member countries have agreed to eliminate tariffs on trade between each other and to have a common external tariff for goods imported from outside the Union. This has helped to create a larger market for goods and services, making it easier for businesses to operate in multiple countries within the Union. In addition to promoting trade, SACU also seeks to harmonize trade-related policies and regulations among its member countries. This helps to reduce trade barriers and to make it easier for businesses to operate across borders. Overall, SACU is an important regional economic bloc that plays a significant role in promoting trade and economic development in Southern Africa. Its member countries have benefited from increased trade and investment and from the creation of a larger market for goods and services. Established in 1981, the Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC, is another customs union. It consists of 6 Arab states in the Persian Gulf, namely Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. The GCC operates a common market and a common external tariff and coordinates its trade policies towards other countries. The GCC has helped to increase trade and investment within the region and has contributed to the overall economic growth and development of the member state. The GCC also plays an important role in regional political and security cooperation. In addition to promoting trade, the GCC also seeks to harmonize trade-related policies and regulations among its member countries. This helps to reduce trade barriers and to make it easier for businesses to operate across borders. The GCC also works to coordinate economic policies such as monetary and fiscal policies to support economic growth and stability in the region. The GCC is an important regional economic bloc that plays a significant role in promoting trade and economic development in the Persian Gulf region. Its member countries have benefited from increased trade and investment and from the creation of a larger market for goods and services. Additionally, the GCC has also been working to diversify their economies and to reduce their dependence on oil and gas exports. Other customs unions, both existing and defunct, include 1. The African Customs Union, ACU, a regional economic bloc that includes countries from the African continent, such as Benin, Burkina Faso, and Chad. 2. The Andean Community of Nations, CAN, a customs union that includes countries in South America, such as Bolivia, Colombia, and Ecuador. 3. The East African Community, EAC, a regional intergovernmental organization made up of countries in East Africa, such as Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. 4. The Central American Common Market, CACM, a former customs union that included countries in Central America, including Costa Rica and El Salvador. And 5. The West African Economic and Monetary Union, a former customs union that included countries in West Africa, such as Senegal and Togo. In conclusion, customs unions are important agreements between countries that promote free trade and economic cooperation. The EU, SACU, and GCC are examples of customs unions that have helped to increase trade and investment within their regions and have contributed to the overall economic growth and development of their member states. By coordinating their trade policies towards other countries, these customs unions have also helped to promote international trade and investment.